Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll be starting at 10 o'clock. Hi, Jose Rios. Could you mute?
Yes.
Could you mute? Your computer keeps unmuting.
Okay.
It's the microphone on the bottom left. Just click it so it has a line through it. Thank you. Okay, everyone, welcome to the session on one-to-one device management and Destiny training. And my name is Dr. Michael Bloomsma, and I'm working with my colleague Carrie. So we both work in the Department of Technology. I support the middle school cohort, but also district-wide one-to-one. And then Carrie, say hello.
Hi everyone, Carrie Batty. Nice to see some familiar faces and a lot of new faces. I'm the Tech Access Operations Manager for the Department of Technology and working closely with Michael on our one-to-one programs and getting all devices out to the students who need them. So if you haven't already, here is the QR code and the bit.ly link to sign in and register for today's, or just like your sign in for your PD. You only have to do it once for the whole day. So if you've already done it during the opener, then you don't need to do it again. But we'll give you a few minutes in case you still need to go ahead and do that. And Michael, maybe if you could drop the link into the chat, then I can go ahead and I'll just move to the next slide.
Yep, I just did. Thank you.
Cool. All right, so in our department, we like to do some warm openers kind of to build camaraderie or just to allow others who may be running late to our sessions. So if you don't mind, just kind of in the chat, maybe drop in your name, your school site or your department, and the role you are at your site. And then also what's something you're hoping to get out of this session today. I will say that we're going to be spending a lot on the Destiny program. So if you are, last year you were device management, in the device management role at your site, you were checking out Chromebooks hotspots to your students. This will be a refresher. If you're might be serving in that role this year, this will be a good session for you to attend. I'm going to actually, at some point in the presentation, I will go into Destiny and screen share and show you how to navigate, be able to check devices out, check devices in. What do you do if a student reports that it's lost? How to handle broken technology in that system. And then a feature that we have for all of our site captains to run reports in Destiny. So you can see all of your inventory and also all students who have current checkouts. So that's what the main part of this session is going to be, but there's also some informational items of where we're going through this year and also a recap of last year. So if you were in the device management role last year, this session is probably just a refresher for you. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll move on. So here's our kind of our agenda for this morning. We're going to do an overview of student technology access. We're going to spend some time on device management, inventory, and storage. I'll do my Destiny training. And then we'll have guidance and resources around technology, one-to-one technology device at schools. And then there will be a question and answer period for anyone who has questions. So here's a link that everyone should have access to in case we don't have time to get to your questions, or maybe a question comes up in the middle of the presentation that you just want to jot down. Maybe you just don't want, you'd rather have it write down your question instead of asking it. This is a document you can put your questions in, and Michael and I will respond to them in the document. And then once it's complete, we'll share it out to everyone who's joined the presentation. We'll also share this link at the end of the presentation. Michael, if maybe you want to drop it in to the chat, that'd be good too. All right, student technology access. So here's a good kind of four kind of basic things that we're going to as a district that we started last year after coming back from distance learning. Some four pillars that we'll briefly go through. So kind of an ongoing operational thing that we want every school to be doing is keeping an accurate inventory of your technology. So really using the Destiny asset program to capture this. So any device that gets checked out to a student needs to be reflected in Destiny. If a device is returned, check it back in. Just this is really for report running to keep an accurate for both Department of Technology level, knowing where inventory is, but also letting you know where inventory is and where your students, which of your students have technology. We're continuing to assess ongoing student need. There's on Synergy, you can pull the UST 502 report. This is a report that will give you a list of all parents who have submitted a request through ParentVue that their student is in need of a Chromebook or a hotspot. And you can pull that report, know which students to follow up with, and then check one out into Destiny, check one out from Destiny from your inventory if that need is still there. This year, we'll be bringing in Chromebooks that were purchased from the Emergency Connectivity Fund. I'll briefly talk about that later on in the presentation, but more information will be shared out to schools at the beginning of the year. But that's a new thing to address ongoing student need. Something we were really good with last year was e-waste of outdated Chromebooks. I don't think I had to work out very much because I had so many Chromebooks returning to me in heavy boxes. I spent a good portion of the summer taking care of all those e-waste items. So good job. And that's still something to continue doing. A lot of the Chromebooks that use the round chargers, they're no longer updating. So they won't be good for applications, especially SBAC. So they won't be supporting that. And then lastly, we want to start implementing device models. So PK3 should really be bringing those Chromebooks back that were checked out to them during distance learning and implementing a shared classroom use model. And then really wanting to get grades 4 through 12 on take-home programs. So encourage you to work with your digital learning partner. They'll be coming out to all their cohorts in the beginning of school year to kind of figure out what kind of a program model that looks for you. So this, just to briefly want to talk about the Emergency Connectivity Fund. For those of you who might have been got all those annoying messages from me last year about the Student Technology Unmet Needs Assessment Survey that was on ParentVue, that was in relation to this fund. It's a Congress appropriated COVID relief money for schools to use to purchase additional technology to address unmet need and to close the homework gap. We as a district had to establish that record of unmet need to qualify for additional funding for technology. And so that was what that survey was on ParentVue. I've started going through the data over the summer to identify students whose parents submitted that survey, and we'll work with sites to provide that list out and get additional technology for the students who are still in need of a Chromebook and hotspot. So the program, the Chromebooks are purchased as part of, addressing the homework gap. So meaning that the Chromebook is primarily used at home, but brought back as part of your take-home program. So again, to differentiate the Chromebooks, we purchased green asset tags, and you can see it has an ECF prefix. That'll help because, as you know, most of our Chromebooks, or all of our Chromebooks, have blue asset tags. And it's really important that ECF Chromebooks can only go to the students from the ParentVue list. So we'll be working directly with each school with your digital learning partner to help you identify those students. And the survey, we'll put it up again this year for parents to continue to respond. There was district-wide was 69% response rate. And then I think 67% there was a overall need. And many of those students have devices already, but we're able to leverage this funding to get additional Chromebooks. And secondary students can actually self-certify via StudentVue, and we'll put that up on there as well. Michael, do you want to talk about the device management role?
Yeah, so if you're familiar and worked with Gary and I last year, there's a stipend role that we have for device management. And basically this shows you the deliverables, but essentially you are working to kind of manage the devices at your site, make sure kids have a device if they need one. And for doing that, you'll be getting a stipend. We're still finalizing the details on that, but you all, if you sign up for this, you'll get a stipend. It can only be for certificated folks, and it can be split between two people if you have two people at your site that are working on it. So yeah.
So if you're going to serve as your school site technology lead this year, it might be a D leaf or just like the site captain role, please fill out this Google form. This allows us to, when Michael and I are going to send out resources or just emails that kind of direct messaging for what we need done at the site level, this just allows us to have like a contact list. So if you are going to be in that role, please fill out this Google form. And we'll also share it again at the end. Maybe Michael, if you want to drop it in the chat. And if you don't know if you're going to be in that role, that's okay. You can still fill it out if you'd like, and just let us know not to continue sending stuff to you if someone else at your school is in that role. Okay, device management, inventory, and storage. So last year, this link is to a device inventory process document. This is something that we put together as a department last year and shared out to all the schools. It really is a helpful kind of a step-by-step guide to inventory your devices. Maybe coming back from summer, there's a classroom or the library, you have a stack of Chromebooks and hotspots, and you have no idea, have they been checked in on Destiny? Are they broken? You have no idea what's going on with them. If you follow this guide, kind of helps you navigate that process and ensure that you're following the right process for using Destiny to check in those devices, because if they're still with a student, if you're still assigned with a student, then we won't be able to get additional Chromebooks. Maybe they don't have, if it's still assigned with a student and the student doesn't actually have it, then our records are off. So a good document to follow. And really, I designed the document to help me address just piles that come back. If anyone's filled out the device collection request form, it all comes to me, and it can be quite overwhelming. I get all 120 sites returned Chromebooks. So something that's, overwhelming to you at the site level, multiply it by 100, and that's what I get. So the document really helps you kind of go through these piles, because we really want to get to something more organized, like kind of a warehouse. Think of a mini warehouse. So we know where everything is. So that document, it provides guidance to schools to manage taking inventory at your site for all Chromebooks available for student use. And the purpose is you'll be able to run accurate reporting, so you know exactly how many Chromebooks you have available to check out to students. So I'm going to just briefly go through this. Really, this is what works for me when I'm going through Chromebooks. I highly recommend just finding one room, put everything in that you need to go through, and keeping organized piles so you're not redoing work. So a bucket for Chromebooks that you have no idea what's going on with them, you still need to inventory. Chromebooks that you have confirmed, you've checked in on Destiny, they're good to go. Next time a student comes to you or comes to someone at your school site that needs a Chromebook, it's good to check out. It's good. Another bucket or box for Chromebooks that are just not functioning and you want to return to DOT to do some further troubleshooting, or they're just ready for e-waste. And then Chromebooks that they're not in Destiny, you need some further help. And then if you follow that process document in the previous slide, it'll tell you exactly what to do with all 4 of these. And here's a flow chart also in that process document. It just sometimes there's a lot of details with words. And if you can see it kind of visualized out the step-by-step, this is a good thing to follow. And again, it's in that document. And you'll have access to these slides. All right. So using Destiny to manage your Chromebook inventory, which is really the main point I'd like everyone to get out of this session is using Destiny. We never want to, if you're giving a Chromebook or a hotspot to a student to take home, it must be reflected in Destiny. We never want to just hand them that device and let them walk out without you checking it out to them. We'll just have, it's for 2 reasons. We want to know which student has a device, and we want to know where our inventory is for auditing and for just getting our counts correct. So Destiny is our asset management program that we're using for technology. You can check out devices to students, check in devices from students who return them. You can mark items lost, items stolen. If there's a damaged item that's returned to you, you can also reflect that in Destiny. Let's see here. So to get to that, you're going to go to, let's see, I think it's replaying here, follett.sfusd.edu. And you can get into your school site with a guest account. You just hover over your school. So this is your username, the number code that it's hovering over, if you can see. So 2931 for Visitation Valley, West Portal is 2524. So each school's guest account has a unique number code. You go into login, you put in that number code, and the password would be tech. And that gives you access to only check in and check out devices for your school only. Last year, we actually gave all site captains who we had a record of the ability to sign on with their Google account. You still have access to that, and you can actually bypass this process of signing in with a guest account, sign in with your Google, and you can still check in items and also run reports. And I will show you how to do that in a few minutes. So here is a training slide deck that will show you everything I'm about to demonstrate live. But if you want to go back and just read through it, this is a good slide deck. That's a good resource. All right, so I'm going to do a Destiny demonstration. These are the four main things I'm going to show you. So say a student comes to you and they need a Chromebook. How do you check one out to them? A student has returned a Chromebook. They no longer need it at home, or maybe it's an end of year device collection for graduating seniors. How do you check it in? A student has reported a Chromebook is lost. How do you reflect that in Destiny? And the same thing with damaged. So can everyone see I'm on the Destiny homepage? Michael, can everyone see that?
I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So as you can see, I'm at the follett.sfusd.edu. I'm going to go ahead and just pretend staff is a school site because I'm going to use myself as a student because I don't want to assign anything to a student. So I log in. All right, so this is what you'll see. You'll see circulation, and circulation is just, giving out a device to a patron. The patron is the student. So let's say Carrie comes to me and I need a device. So you go to checkout items, you're gonna search, you can search by last name, student ID, but if you have a lot of students with the same last name, you're going to a huge list. Only one Carrie Batty. I'm gonna click on him. And there he is. Uh-oh, he's got a device already assigned to him. So if you never check out a device to a student, if they show that they have a device still assigned to them, you want to follow up with that student and maybe with the parent too. I encountered several high school students over the summer during summer school that asked for a device. And I looked in Destiny and they had a device. And after further questioning, they just said, oh, they left it at home. So we don't have enough inventory to give students multiple devices. So always follow up. So for this purpose, I'm going to say, oh, I lost the device. They called my mom. She confirmed it's lost. So what you can do over here on the right side, there's an option to click lost and an option to click stolen. So I'm just going to click lost. This item will be marked lost. You can click OK. It'll update Destiny records. I can pull a report, disable that device. I'm just going to cancel for now. So I'm going to say, I have this device. I'm going to return it. So you can go to check in items. And we know, because I have the device with me, it's right here. I have the asset tag. You can either type or scan in the asset tag. So I'm just going to type it in. If it has DOT, make sure you have DOT there. You can click go or press enter. It's now checked in. So now I'm going to issue a Chromebook to the student and go back to myself again. You see, I've checked it in, so it's no longer part of my record. I'm good to go. So I have a Chromebook that I know is good, functioning. It could be used for a student. Here's a new Chromebook. I'm going to scan this one in. So you can scan or type in. So you might get a pop-up message that it's currently assigned to another site. If you physically have it, click yes. You should never encounter that problem. I just forgot to transfer it over to the site. But anytime a Chromebook comes to your site, it will be transferred over. So now you can see it's checked out to me. Okay. Let's say, what was the other? Let's say student comes up to you and says, this Chromebook's broken, and you open it up and the screen is shattered. So that's obviously broken. So let's just say the Chromebook I just scanned in, it's broken, student's returning it. Okay, first I'm going to check it in. The scanner doesn't work. I will type it in. All right, it's checked in. And all this is found in the Destiny slide deck and the Chromebook inventory process document, all these steps, but I'm just doing a live demo. So we want you to check out Broken Technology to Patron 911. This will completely remove that Chromebook from your available inventory. So the same thing, I go to checkout items. I'm going to click reset because I don't want to check it back out to the student. Patron 911. So you could just do P911. There we go. Then I'm just going to check it out. Again, scanner doesn't work. I'll type it out. Good. It's checked out. It's no longer in your inventory. So that's kind of the basics of what we really want sites to be doing before handing out technology to students. Make sure you're using Destiny, because this will generate live reports. You can pull reports from Destiny right after you've assigned to a student, and it'll be current. And I'll show you how to do that actually right now.
Hey, Carrie, we had a question
Mhm.
from Raymond. How can you mark a Chromebook found if it was previously marked as lost or stolen?
I believe that has to be done through myself. So if you find it, and this has happened a couple of times, let's say you've marked a Chromebook lost, it's found, just submit a help desk ticket and ask me to request that the Chromebook be updated to available in Destiny. So for running reports, let's just back right out to follett.sfusd. So you're here. You don't need to do the hover code. Go to login. You see on the left side, it says login using your account with Google. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to this screen. Now, only site captains from last year have access to this. If you're a new site tech lead and you encounter an issue, it's probably because we still need to add you. So if you've signed up on that Google form, we can give you permissions for your school site. So you go up to this gear where it says staff, this gear icon, click on it. A drop-down will appear. So for this example, I am, just say, the site tech lead at New Traditions Elementary School. But if you're at, Alamo, you should see Alamo there. If you do a drop-down and you don't see your school, put in a help desk ticket, please. All right, so this is what you'll see. You see the circulation tab? So you can check out items, check in items. You can do everything that I just demonstrated to you from your Google account. You don't need to do that guest account. But to run reports, you want to go to reporting, the reports tab right here. You want to go to report builder on the left side. And then a list of reports will be here. The two that you'll want to run that are most relevant to you. And to begin the year, this is the most relevant one for you, the student tech checkout report, especially for elementary schools and our K-8 schools who we asked to have all those K-3 devices brought back. You run this report, just click run, and you see its pending status here. This will generate a list of every student at your school site that has a hotspot or an iPad or a Chromebook, any technology assignment. This report will generate that list. And you can filter it to see, I only want to see kindergarten, or I only want to see fifth, or whatever. You can apply filters to that report, and that'll show you that. It might take a few minutes. You can refresh. So click on the Excel file, and that will allow you to view it as an Excel sheet. I'm not going to open it. I don't want to show student data on here, but all of your students will be on this list at New Traditions who have device assignments. So the other report that's valuable, go back to report builder, is this asset report. Probably not as accurate to begin the year because we're still, you might need to continue checking in devices. You might have broken devices that need to be returned. But this report, if you run it, will give you a list of all assets at your site that are available, that are checked out, that you've marked lost. You can also apply filters to see only available, so you can see how many Chromebooks you have at your site. We'll be working with schools really closely to audit that even more, to take out devices that are probably lost. A lot of stuff, it's not as accurate through distance learning after coming back. But myself and the digital learning partners will help you kind of clean that up. But you just click run again, and that report will generate. It might take a few minutes. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover in Destiny. So here again, the two reports that I just described, the student tech checkout report and the asset report. I actually created a video to help you interpret the asset report. It's about 9 minutes long. I'm not going to play it here, but you can review it on your own time if you'd like. It just kind of walks you through each of the data columns and what's most relevant for your information. There's a lot of things on there that's more valuable for me, but there are certain columns that you'd like to take notice from. So again, if you try to sign in with Google and you don't have access to run this reports, please submit a help desk ticket to help@sfusd.edu and request access to run Destiny reports. Then I'll follow up with you. We'd really only want to limit this to the site lead, whoever is the device manager. Just the one person has that report. So if you are the device manager or in that role, you should be the one that has that access. All right, technology device guidance. Michael, do you want to take this or do you want me to continue?
Sure.
I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing me.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so the guidance that we have for the district right now is that grades pre-K through 3 are using a shared classroom one-to-one model. So basically what that means is there's a cart in each classroom, devices, and about last year, the guidance was to have schools collect back all their devices from pre-K through 3 so that they could put them in the carts that our department provided to each school. And so basically, when you do that process, a lot of schools basically did a bring your device back to school day or week. And then when they bring them in, you check them in and you parse them out into the carts. And when you do that check-in, as Carrie showed you, it clears the Chromebook off their record, so it doesn't show that they have a device assigned to them anymore. And if you have questions, there's a link to a form there. If you did not get your carts delivered to your school, you can submit that form and Carrie will follow up with you on that. And it's also important to make sure you've inventoried all the Chromebooks that you currently have on your site. And there's the link to the document to do that. And if you have any questions, there's a link to the DLE partners for each cohort so that you can reach out to them if you need support. And then for 4th through 12th grade, our goal is to get to a one-to-one take-home model for all those grades. So basically what that means is all students in grade 4 through 12 would keep their device and take it back and forth like a textbook to school. And again, it's important to make sure you've inventoried all those. Depending on the, if it's elementary or middle or high school, elementary schools, it's probably easier for classroom teachers to just check in with the kids at the beginning of the year. Well, actually K through 3, you have them in the classroom, but at fourth and 5th grade in elementary, you'd have probably the classroom teachers check to make sure kids have a device. And if they don't, work with us to get them a device. And then a lot of the middle schools have like an advisory period. So what a lot of them have done is had that teacher or those teachers check in, do you have a device? Is it working? If it's stolen or broken, to let them know so that they can update it in Synergy and work with us to get a replacement for them. Let's see. What else? Carrie, did you want to talk about the 4th grade? Let's see. current fourth graders should have returned the Chromebooks.
Yeah, I'll say, I know we said like, when you run that student tech checkout report and they'll show, you know, you want to collect back the K-3 devices. That was from last, you know, that's the guidance from last year. So really your current fourth graders also should have turned in their devices last year to populate those carts. And then we can bring out, you know, devices to the fourth graders to replenish them. And we're going to kind of using the emergency connectivity fund Chromebooks too to supplement that. So we'll be building lists. So I encourage you when your digital learning partner comes out to your sites over the next couple weeks, to check in with them about how we can support you with that process. I can say as a district, we're kind of all over the place in terms of who collected back what. I'd say most students from those grades didn't get collected back. Now maybe because in Destiny it shows the assignment still, but maybe you collected them back, but you didn't check them in on Destiny. That's why it's like super important to check them in, because all I see is I pull a report, and I'm sure in email correspondence and I send you a report back and we might disagree on it. If you didn't check it in, that's what Destiny shows. So really check it in on Destiny, use that report, and collect back the fourth grade devices to get them in your carts.
And that's just a kind of a diagram of the process for both all grade levels. And then basically, I don't know, I've been managing something called Verizon's Innovative Learning Schools Grant for the last 6 years. And we had 7 middle schools that got devices through Verizon. And it was our first one-to-one take-home program in the district. So now we have 7 middle schools that have been doing, since 2016, have been doing one-to-one take-home where the kids keep their device 24/7 and bring it back and forth to school. So that's our goal, is to work towards that. And I'll be working closely with those schools to support them in getting there. There's a document linked that shows kind of best practices, a lot of the things we've learned from those other schools on how to like make a successful program, you know, things like setting device care and expectations school-wide, having a student tech team, a lot of the things that were really helpful for those schools in supporting that program. And then these are just a few highlights from that document. One is to leverage your digital learning facilitator at your school site, develop a student tech team, and it's really important to set school-wide device care and transportation expectations with students so they're not throwing their backpacks around with their Chromebook in it. And that's a link to the document. And we just want to make sure you're aware that the digital learning team that I work on, we each have been assigned to cohorts to support you. So if you have questions, you can reach out to these folks. Like I said, I support the middle school cohort, and then you can see based on which cohort you're in, who you would reach out to for that. If you don't know which cohort you're in, you can ask your principal, they know. And then just a couple other resources. We have our digital agency curriculum on the website. So that's one of the, actually when this Verizon schools started with their one-to-one, before they could even get their devices, they had to do 6 weeks of digital citizenship curriculum. I think now we have like 3 lessons or something like that. So the guidance is on the website. That's a really important process to go through when you're doing one-to-one take home. So students know the expectations and how to be safe with their device. And then I added some resources here from other schools. So the first one is a sample of school-wide expectations from James Oak Middle School. Carrie, could you click on that one? And then just click on the first, yeah. So basically this was something that their teachers shared with students of, the kind of the guidelines for their school and how to care for their device. I don't know if you can click through some of the slides there. So it's basically like a contract, that they will take care of their device. Yeah. Just like, I think this was something that's like advisory teachers used. So, I'll hold my Chromebook with 2 hands, stay on the sign up your websites, not eat or drink around the Chromebook. Those things that your school site determines are the most important things. Yeah. Knowing that they're supposed to bring it charged every day. And some schools, in the middle schools, when they were having trouble with kids bringing them charged, they had a kind of a spot check once a week. The student tech team would come through all the classrooms, and whichever couple classes had the most devices that were charged got some kind of a prize at the end of the week, which was really helped incentivize letting kids know this is the expectation. Yeah, so that's good, Carrie. So just if you're curious on what other schools have done to kind of set those expectations, that's a good example. The second one there is, if you click on that one, Carrie, this one is from it's part of the Verizon grant. It's nationwide. So this is not from our school, one of our schools, but this is from one of the other schools in the program. And yeah, keep going. And this one has some good information about, click forward. There. One of the best strategies for teachers in the classroom, especially if they're new teachers with, I remember when I was new, I didn't have very good classroom management skills, is to set a baseline of something like a stoplight, where if the kids see that red is up, they know that they're not using devices today and to keep the devices put away. Yellow means you can have them out, but wait until I tell you to. And green means you can start using your device when you walk in the classroom. That kind of sets the groundwork for teachers and students to know, like, okay, this is what is expected of me, instead of just kind of a free for all. So that's another resource that you can access. Yeah, and I know a couple schools kind of had those stoplights posters made for the whole school for all their classrooms. You can go back to the main presentation here. And then the last one I've already talked about and shared, it's just other recommendations to support take-home one-to-one programs. I don't know, Carrie, is that it?
This slide, I just kind of took all of the various forms or resources that were found in this presentation and put them all on one slide. So it's easier for everyone to refer back to. So like the device collection request form, if you've got broken or excess Chromebooks and hotspots that you'd like to return to DOT, we can pick them up. Just fill out this form. It might not be to begin the school year, might not be something we can get around to till a couple of weeks from now, but you can box them up and we'll pick them up. I can't accept other e-waste items like printers and large items, anything other than a DOT issued Chromebook and hotspot. I myself am also at a school site. I don't have room to store that. It goes to the warehouse anyways. So you need to facilitate that with the warehouse if you have those items. But Chromebooks and hotspots I can take back. Number two, a common issue I run into with Chromebooks that get reported as like not functioning. A lot of times they just haven't been updated to the current operating system, especially sitting over those have been kept over school during the summer, haven't been used for a couple months. They're probably several versions behind. This document you can actually update them right on site and save you the kind of the trouble of submitting a ticket and having to wait on someone to come out there. Really easy. You just follow step by step those instructions, and that'll get the operating system up. And a lot of times that solves the issues. If it's not physical damage, if everything looks good, it's running slow, you might just need to update that. I put a link to the video on how a staff member can pull the UST 502 online device request report. That's the report from parents who submit the parent view request that their student needs a Chromebook or hotspot. You can generate a list from that. The Destiny training slide deck, also instructions on how to run the Destiny reports. Those are written instructions. And then coming soon, we'll be sharing out a kind of a back to school device management checklist. A lot of the things that are on this resource page will be on there. There'll be more information specifically geared towards those ECF Chromebooks on that checklist. So make sure you submit the Google form. That's the site captain form that we shared earlier, and we can email that checklist directly to you. We'll also we definitely will share it in the lead bulletin, so all principals and assistant principals have that information. And I think that might be it. Here's the Q&A parking lot document that Michael and I will address. We can go back in there after digital district day sessions and answer them. But I think, do we have time if there's any questions?
Yeah, I think we
Yeah.
end at 11, so we have plenty of
Okay.
time. There's one from Megan. Confusion on the device collection form. Last year, we were told that the Chromebooks with the circular chargers are being phased out and to not use anymore. Would I put those as broken or working on my collection form?
This is for the device collection request form. Don't worry about it. Just it's all coming back to me. I would just put it as a quantity of whatever. Doesn't matter.
We have time if anyone wants to unmute and ask a question or put it in the chat.
I also put on a new slide, the feedback slide. I think this is for overall digital district day. So please go ahead and fill it out.
It's for each session.
Oh, for each session? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave that up. Now, I'm just going to scroll. I don't think there's any. Yep, that's his last slide.
I have a quick question. I have a couple of devices already that a student turned in because it was damaged and I gave them a new one.
Mm-hmm.
How do I mark it in Destiny that it's damaged after checking it in?
Good question. Let's see.
Because I don't want to leave that device in my inventory as
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I want to
got it.
mark it as damaged.
Understood. Okay. So I'm just going to go to the best one to do. So under circulation. So this is actually, I'm going to back out altogether. What school site are you at?
Alice Fong-Yu.
Okay. Sorry, I can't see any names, or I just hear.
No problem.
All right. So Alice Fong-Yu is probably, it's K8. Oh, no, I just did that.
Okay.
There we go. So I'm just going to log in with the guest account, but you might have the other account. So 27, 28. Okay. So you're going to, you were saying these are damaged devices, correct?
Yes.
So go to checkout items.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do patron. So P911. I clicked enter. I think you can, oh, what noise. Okay, so now we're at this screen where you see support needed. So then go ahead and either type or scan in your asset tag into this find field. If you scan it, it'll automatically submit, but if you type it, I think you can just click go or click enter. And then you should see it appear under items out under here. If you're typing it in and it has a DOT prefix, make sure to include DOT, but no spaces. So I have a Chromebook here in front of me. So this Chromebook that I have here is DOT 27705. So I type it exactly how it appears. Because if you do a space, it will probably give you a error message. Let's see. Yeah, doesn't exist because there's a space. So just make sure no spaces, and it'll assign it. So as soon as you assign it to this support needed, this P91 code, 911 code, if you go back and, well, you can't do it on the guest account, but on that other account, if you go and run the I think, was it the asset report? I think it's called the asset report. It will no longer be in your available inventory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
the Chromebooks that I sent back to you,
uh-huh.
I sent a whole bunch back, but I did not indicate some as damaged.
Those are, I took care of them.
Okay,
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So
Thank you.
Yeah. So the real nice thing about, or why I want schools to do this process is because because I end up, when it comes back to me, I transfer it out of your actual inventory anyways. Because when you run a report, it'll say that it's this will still be in your report, but it'll be as checked out. So it's good that way because you want to know what's available. When it comes back to me, I take it completely out of all school inventory. It goes into a kind of like a DOT inventory, but it might take me a while to get to return devices. My priority is, helping get students access. So my priority is not always e-waste. It's always, what can I do to get you guys additional devices? So it might take months or might take till summer to get to it. So if you take care of this at school, check it out to 911, then when you run a report, it's immediate, whereas you might wait on me for weeks to do it. So that's really important to check it out to 911. But everything that was returned last school year, it's done. We're current there, so we're good to go. Were there any other Destiny related questions that I could share? We can walk through it. So again, to run those reports, it's this, signing in with Google. Gear icon. Reports. Report builder. It's the asset report. And also, I think there was a question earlier on about, I think Raymond asked it, but say the device was marked lost and it magically reappears. Funny how that works. And you want to update it to available. Because if you try to check it out, you'll get an error. Let's say, a device was returned to you that you marked lost, or maybe you didn't know was marked lost. Maybe it's been a while, and you go to check out that item. You do DOT, whatever, the code 1234, and you click on go or enter, you'll get like a pop-up that says this, something to the effect that this device was marked lost. You won't be able to check out that item while it's still lost. The system recognizes that it's not, available. So to make sure it's to change that, you can actually, you just check the item back in. So you check it in and the system will revert it back to available. You also, if you come across an item that's marked lost, before you give it to the student, turn it on, because if you reported it lost through the help desk ticket, or I'll be running reports to get all lists of lost items, we're going to disable the Chromebook. Basically, no one will be able to use it. When you open it up, you'll get a screen that basically prompts them to return it back to SFUSD, no questions asked, and that it's not working. So you just need to submit a help desk ticket that, hey, this device was previously marked lost. It's been disabled. I confirm that it's returned to the school. Can you please re-enable it and we'll turn it back on. So just make sure you don't want to hand that device back to a student until it's been reactivated.
Any other questions? We pretty much concluded our presentation. If you have a question, you put it in the chat or unmute yourself, and I'll put the parking lot doc in there. If you have an individual question that you'd like us to follow up with you on, you can put it in the parking lot. But other than that, thanks for joining us, and we'll hang out here for another 4 or 5 minutes if you have other questions. Thank you for your support on this at your school sites. We really appreciate it. Definitely couldn't do it without you all.
Look forward to another year of device management.
Thank you very much for all the information, and have a great day, both of you guys.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
And we'll stop the recording.